Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 3 long weeks here at SRA.
Welcome back to the best racing in North America, home of the SRA GP3 Team Series. 60 minutes of action-packed door-to-door racing, 6 divisions, 6 different championships on the line. Let's get ready for some action tonight.
An incident. Oh, turn. We have Boardman at a yellow. Looks like he's dropping down positions there on the chicane as a bunch of cars are coming through.
Byron's going to take a dive in the Lexus.
Johnson looking to go down the inside of Maxwell.
And we're off and away for SRA.
The stage has been set after 7 long, grueling weeks. We now come down to the final race, and the championship battle couldn't be any hotter. Championship battle leading the division all within 1 point, but we'll get more into that later. Taylor Molyneux joining me on the desk tonight. Paul Hartman, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, but I'm missing our third man here tonight.
Yes.
Josh Damiani, unfortunately, was out due to technical issues. We will miss him, but we will carry on.
I believe it's because he's in Canada, but and partially because ACC servers are down, but that doesn't mean our servers are down. We can still go racing here. And speaking of racing, cars are just leaving the pits to kind of do their warm-up laps on qualifying. So while they do that, let's hop on over to the track map of Valencia, the new addition here, the ACC. Welcome to Spain, the track of 4 kilometers long, 14 turns. We have some very exciting racing to do. We should be looking towards turn 1, obviously, for some high overtaking zones after that long stretch, as well as turn 2 if you can get it right, and really pretty much anywhere else. It's a decently wide track, very flowy though, so if you need to dive up the inside, you better make it stick. As well as turn 12. Exit of turn 12 has a very bumpy curve, but you need to take it, so look for some spin outs there.
Yeah, very excited for the passing zones around turn 2, 3, 4, that flow through there. If someone can get alongside you in 2, then it's an all-out battle for the next couple of turns, as well as, like Taylor said, turn 12, you hit that bump wrong, you come out of that corner wrong, and you're slow coming into 13 and out of the last corner for 14. If you lose that speed, then that position is gone from you on that back straightaway. So definitely some high overtaking action there. But overall, in my testing, this track is going to be very difficult to overtake. Not a whole ton of room, very flowy, just instantly from turn to turn. Not a lot of brakes on this one, so it'll be interesting to see how these D1 drivers navigate that.
I was actually hearing the exact opposite when talking to some people, where they're saying overtaking is better than ever here, just because of some of the long flowing natures of this track and the fact that you can go too wide through multiple turns in a course of a strain. So overtaking and battling could be a lot of fun to see. Currently on board leading our silver drivers, Michael Griffith here. Going to be the first one to set the first ever valid qualifying lap here of SRA in Division 1, leading off and ending this season on a high note in round 8. Gonna get all spicy, and if you are new here, you don't know how qualifying works, welcome. You've reached just the end of the season. We have a 20-minute qualifying period. We have 10 minutes split. Is our silver drivers who will take the first 10 minutes, gold drivers will take the second 10 minutes. And if you're wondering who's silver, who's gold, may I direct you to the left side of your screen, where every driver with a silver number plate is your silver drivers. Every driver with a white number plate is your gold drivers. Currently, we are watching our silver drivers, Griffith, absolutely throwing down a lap, and this is the curb we're talking about. Get it wrong, your car's going to go flying, or you will invalidate just like that, as Griffith has invalidated. So Nate Specht will be our first person to set a valid lap here at Valencia. Going to cross the line, Nate Specht. Going to be a respectful time. I think he also invalidated. He did.
He must have invalidated on that one.
That very last turn.
But the first times are popping up here. Fazley setting the fastest time so far with 1:31.3. That's a pretty good time right there. Sparks not far behind with 1:31.38. Dan Cran with a 1:31.6. We're going to see these times come down quite a bit. I know I was seeing some of these gold drivers hitting in the mid to low 1:30s. So this silver class, I know from the practice race, is going to have about 3 to 4 more tenths in them for these top spots. We're going to see some mid to high 130s out of these folks here.
And everyone is already improving, as we can see. Dan Cran here is actually up 4 tenths already. And if he can hold this, he will take provisional pole position right now, but Fazli Majid is also improving on his time. So green all across the board right now. Gotta wait to see how this all turns out. Bray and Sparks currently on invalid laps. So this is a pretty short lap track here. So only minute 30-second times. We might see a 29 here if we're lucky, if people have the absolute send in them. But 30s is kind of insane. 30s is where we're going to kind of look, as Griffith demonstrates with a 30.8. We'll throw a yellow and return to pits for the moment. Dan Cram will cross the line, be in P3 for the time being, a 31 flat exactly.
And we also have Nate Specht, who we watched in the picture-in-picture, just put down a provisional P2 with a 1:30.89. Only a couple hundredths away from Griffith. He's already 3 tenths up on this lap right here. We'll see if he can carry that through.
I will say the Porsches and the McLarens have been looking strong at this track. So kind of ball up for our championship battle of Lehman and Mercer. Lehman might have the upper hand here, but I've seen Mercer do great things with that Lambo around this track.
Well, I know that these McLaren folks were making a lot of changes with the setups, trying to get it figured out. They'd come up with some updates, some BOP updates for the new McLaren Evo. Try to balance things out a little bit. So having some difficulty trying to get these setups right, but they put a lot of work into it, and obviously it's already paying off for them here. And this is still 3 tenths up on his lap, a minute 12 in, coming around turn 12 into turn 13.
Absolutely nails it.
Beautiful out, and he's going to be almost 4 tenths up. Lose a little bit of time, 2 tenths, trying to keep it back on the curb there. Went a little bit wide, a little bit too fast there. 2 tenths up on his time, though, will still put him in provisional pole with a 1:30.7.
Yeah, I believe he just missed the apex of that last turn, because normally the apex, you want to take all that curb on the inside. It got a little wide, threw off his exit a little bit. Patrick Rust here in the Audi trying to show us how it's done. 4 tenths up on his current time. Won't be flying to P1. but we'll be able to get up to a respectful P5 of a 31-1 right now.
As Majid 2/10 up on his time right now, and the Lamborghini. This would be a very good time indeed. This would put him in second place here.
Jordan Sparks about to finish his lap on the second last turn. Was 2/10 up on his time. Took turn 12 too cautiously and actually bled out all of his time. So he has to regroup, re-go around again.
Well, also, Brooker Quigg did not set down a good lap so far, but seems to be on a screamer right now. Over a second up on his time. That being said, his last time was he just crosses the line there. And he's got a 131.6, so he's still got some more time in him.
He does.
But at least he's on the board.
He is, and Fazamaji has now reached over the 4/10 improvement here. If he keeps this will set him on provisional pole. He is coming down into the final turn now. And he hugged the apex. It is. That's how you do it. 5/10 up on his time. That's a really good exit. Is going to hold the time there. He will jump up into provisional pole position for the time being. That is a 30.5. And Nate Speck will return to pits. Could spell the end to his qualifying. But if he gets out within the next 30 seconds, he should have at least one more lap. Patrick Russ going to finish off this lap with his best time. 2/10 up on his time. We'll go one position higher to P4, 30.9. Russ having a good qualifying session right now.
Remba 5/10 up right here. Sees him up to P6, the 131.2.
Jordan Sparks behind him was 3/10 up on his time, but ends up taking to the gravel a little bit. Is going to send it a bit more on that turn 12 than he did last run. Let's see if he can hold the apex here for the final turn. 2/10 up, late on the brakes he is. Gets that apex perfect. Can swing the car out wide. 3/10 up. We'll bump him up a few positions, and he'll go up to P6. I believe Griffith is also up on his time. About 2/10. Yeah, in your picture-in-picture window there. Might I say, Valencia has some great camera angles.
It does.
I'm loving it.
Some tracks do not have the best preset camera angles, but this one, they nailed it. It's very cinematic.
They did.
Almost 3/10 up as he goes into turn 14 here. Griffith is looking to bring back that pole time, almost 4/10. He's going to lose a little bit of speed. 3/10 though. This is going to put him in provisional pole. Ooh, actually not quite. My bad. With a 130.565. So less than a tenth. Less than a tenth.
Nate Speck starts his final lap. See if he can answer the calls. He needs about 2/10 to be in front of Majid here and to get him that provisional pole. See if he can hold it together. This is his final lap, and he's on pretty much cold tires. As silver qualifying is about to end in 5 seconds. So everyone that will finish their lap starting now, their qualifying is over as the gold drivers spill onto the track, and Nate Speck doesn't look to be gaining any time really anywhere. Currently sitting at a very neutral time area. Same with Griffith, same with Rust. Dan Cran kind of up on his time, but vastly losing it back down to that neutral area.
Taking a look at Nick Sand here, 2/10 up on his time. It's not really going to move him too many positions. He may jump Stallworth for the last place here for 10th, but it's going to be close for him.
If Griffith can find just 0.06 of a second here in the final corner, he will be able to jump Majid, but he's earlier on the brakes than his last lap, and it's not going to be enough for him. Gets a terrible exit, will be 2/10 down and just dive into the pits. Nate Speck trying to do the same thing, but won't be able to do anything on that. He is down on time, but his exit's a lot better than his previous lap, but it will just set him neutral, so he'll stay where he's at in P3. Stallworth now rounding out the final corner. One of our last drivers on track, up about 2/10. We'll see him a couple positions, not a whole lot, but we'll jump him up to P7. And that is your silver qualifying of
Definite upsets there, some surprising victors for the silver qualifying. Fazli Majid with an amazing performance, clearly put in the practice this week with a 1:30.495. That is up there with some of the faster times that I've seen. Very, very excited for him. And the Lamborghini, watch out for that 712. As well as Nate Specht, you know, as you saw there, he's 2/10 down on that lap, and then he actually took that last corner right, and he went even on his time, dead even on his time. So that just goes to show he had a little bit more in it, and that could have been a second place for him. But still, third place, not a bad spot to be in. We're going to have to see where these gold drivers file in. Speaking of, these gold drivers are on the track now, and they are they on?
Ready.
They're getting ready.
Neville,
I think, yeah, not quite on their flyer yet.
Nope, they're still warming up. Neville will be our first leader, I believe, on our gold. Well, actually, they are on their first lap right now. But Neville is on his warm-up lap. So his next lap will be the first lap. But our first person to set a gold lap is O'Brien, if he can keep it within the lines right now. And it looks like he's doing a great job at that. I do just want to point out, I'm surprised we have an Audi within 5/10 of our top time right now. Not something we usually get here in D1. Audi's been a little bit out of the zone.
That probably took quite a bit of wrangling by Patrick to get that to happen. Extremely fast driver, and he can definitely make something like that work. I'm a little bit confused by the strategy here of Mr. Sir, who appears to be sitting directly behind Mercer. Following him within a 10th here.
Mercer is a fast person. He can definitely get the lap time done. Maybe Mr. Sir was looking for that toe down the main straight and just follow Mercer through, gonna trust his speed a little bit more. So
Mr. Sir actually has the fastest time on our hot lap leaderboard. Last I checked, which was last night. I don't want to
jinx him. Cast your curse already?
I don't want to be wrong here, actually. Let me take a look. Matt Lehman took that spot back. So our fastest time in SRA so far is a 1:30.315 by Matt Lehman. Mr. Sir not too far behind with a 1:30.360.
So just to put this into perspective, our current fastest time is just over a 10th off of the overall time that we have collected for this track this season.
You know, Fazli also, this must have been quite a lap for him, because his previous best was a 1:30.737. So wow. he hit a personal record right there. You know, that's the best feeling ever.
I mean, he says he's not doing well physically, so I mean, hopefully that boosts his spirits a little bit. If Lehman can boost his spirits by a 10th here in the last corner, he will see provisional pole, and he gets a great exit out of the last corner there. Is flying down the main straight. Is it enough to put him on pole? It is by 0.02 of a second. 1:30.477 is the time to beat now. And he's going faster. Keep your eyes on Lehman. May I remind you, Lehman and Mercer in the championship battle, just separated by 1 point currently. So even a fastest lap could decide this championship. So we are on board with Alex Chilcutt, currently about 0.2 up on his time. May I ask, Polly, how is the Mr. Sir strategy going?
You know, I'm beginning to think it might be a little bit of voodoo.
Okay.
Because Mr. Sir, Champion Motorsports, Matt Lehman, Champion Motorsports.
Okay.
Following close behind him in his mirror on his qualifying lap could be a strategy. I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that it isn't.
Some inner conglomerate teamwork.
Just pointing something out here. He's not impeding his lap whatsoever. And he's staying a 10th behind him. Just
showing in his mirror, as Mercer will set a P5 current lap right now, but Chilcutt is going to set a P4, which will drop Mercer to P6, actually behind Nate Specht, the teammate of Matt Lehman. not the right position you want to be if you're Mercer.
He's in a Champion Motorsports sandwich right here. He's got Chilcott in front, then Specs, then Mr. Sir right behind him as far as the standings go so far.
It's not looking good if this is how it finishes. Now, he is gaining time. He's about a 10th up on his time, and that will put him in front of Nate Specht, who can't really fight back. But he has to hold that for the rest of the lap. It doesn't look like he's doing so well of holding that. He's actually down on his time. Might actually start impeding Mr. Sir here, but you are not allowed to overtake in qualifying unless it is completely obvious here in this league. Peter O'Brien just ahead of them, actually 4/10 up on his time, setting a burner of a lap here coming down to the final corner. He brakes a little bit earlier than his last lap. See if he can hit the apex. He does. He gains time, even a better exit, kind of neutral. Will come down to the line, not enough to set a pole position lap, but will be enough for P4.
Mr. Sir is trying the Nate Specht strategy now by going back to the pits.
I saw a lot of them. I saw a lot of them go back to the. It is a very hot day. It's 32 degrees Celsius on the track right now.
What's the ambient?
Ambient's 26. So 26 in the air, 32 on track. It's a very hot surface. Could cook an egg on it. Matt Lehman, our current pole position leader, is attempting to go faster. Try to build that gap away from his fellow goal competitors. His nearest goal competitor is O'Brien, which is about 2/10 back. 20 gap is a good gap, as Mercer is just under 2/10 up on his time. As I say that, he is absolutely flying on his time now. He can hold this. He will take provisional pole for the time being. 3/10. He still has about 30 seconds left in the track. See what he can do in your picture-in-picture window, I believe that is.
Yeah, this is O'Brien watching his lap here. He's going to definitely have time for another one.
Yep, is 1 minute left.
Just slightly up on his previous.
Mercer getting a okay exit out of final corner. I don't think it's going to be enough to get Lehman on provisional pole. It will just be good enough for P3. 35 hundredths of a second behind Lehman right now. If it were to end like this, Mercer will be lined up on the grid directly behind Lehman. But he is going faster and slower now. Sorry, Mercer.
O'Brien back in the pits. Chilcott back in the pits.
Yep.
Mr. Sir out of the pits.
Mr. Sir
trying for one last lap here, even on his time going into the start of it. I'll have to see.
He might have some cool tires. We saw Nate Specht try to do this. He left, then came back out on the track after a bit. Only had one lap in him. Didn't go fast enough. I don't think those tires were ready. Nordstrom just started his final flying lap. Is gaining a little bits of time. Any bit helps here, as the top 12 are all within 4/10 of each other right now. Any little time will gain you a couple positions. Mr. Sir trying his best there. Only 200s up, but if he can improve that by just a bit, he'll get Nate Specht. Qualifying has ended. Everyone who crosses the line now, their laps are finished. Lehman invalidated his lap, so that will be qualifying over for him. He has to hope that everyone back here doesn't get it. Mercer in the pits will start P3. O'Brien in the pits will start P6, P5. Chilcott will be P6. Mr. Sir likely to start P8 unless he starts finding some more time. Nordstrom down on his time. Pierce will pull off to the side and his qualifying. Nixon is surprisingly back in P22, not gaining anything. And he will be stuck in P22. Mr. Sir
gains a 10th all the way up to 5th place. Yep, 130.645.
Nordstrom will pull into the pits. To our qualifying order, Matt Lehman, Majid will take your front row. Right behind them, Mercer and Griffith. Great for the championship battle here. Then Mr. Sir, then Peter O'Brien, Alex Chilcott, Nate Specht, Nordstrom. and Wilson will round out the top 10.
I'd like to point out Nixon and Neville, two drivers that we have been seeing quite a lot of this season. They've managed to make that Aston Martin extremely quick, even when it was thought by many that the odds were stacked against it. Unfortunately, this week, looks like the odds may really be stacked against it. Doesn't seem to be a very well-performing car. I know that these drivers have the skill in them. So maybe couldn't get this car to work around here. But look at all the Lambos up here too. Fasley, Mercer, O'Brien, Wilson, all the Lambos in the top 10.
Yep, every Lambo we have on track right now, all within the top 10. Very happy with the spread of manufacturers here. Anyone in D1 can make these cars work. But since it is such a hot topic this week for the final time this season, round 8, we will head through the standings here. If I pull it up on screen. Yep, here are your drivers' standings. Still up in the air for the most part. Vroom Car Drive, that's the team of Jeremy Mercer and Peter O'Brien, who start 3rd and 6th currently. They are leading with 996 points, but right behind them is Champion Motorsports McLemmons as Nate Speck, Matt Lehman right there. They are going to be starting P1 and P8, so they can still take this. The gap is 91 points, but it's still doable. P3 will go to Drive Car Vroom, the team of Eric Neville and Jordan Nixon, who have pretty much locked that down, but waiting in the wings for anything to happen. Comic Racing Facehuggers, Michael Griffith and Travis Nordstrom still there. Also still in the mix, sometimes maybe good, to Fazli Majid and Michael Menning, and Menning is not here tonight, so it's all on Fazli Majid.
That's going to definitely take them out of the mix a little bit. They may even lose a position to P6 TSE Vroom Car Drive of Marquez and Bray. But, you know, if you're going to have someone out for the night, Fazli is the good guy to have in. He's really made that car work for him today.
See how that works. Moving on to our main event, the kind of spotlight that we're showing this week. The drivers' standings. Leading their drivers' standing, Jeremy Mercer, but only by 1 point. Matt Lehman. They start tail to front of each other on the grid. Michael Menning, who is not here, will unfortunately be out of the battle. So the battle is Matt Lehman and Jeremy Mercer. Peter O'Brien will round out top 4. Mr. Sir will be top 5. Battle for silvers. Nate Speck, Michael Griffith is only within 5 points, and that battle gets even better when you throw in Jeffrey Bray and Dan Cran, who are all there, still in it. Anything able to happen. Take a look at the back half of the field here, who may or may not be here for the most part. Some honorable mentions.
Missing a lot of names on this list here, unfortunately, but still a couple people here, a couple places to move. Just a dedicated few left at the end of the season here. 25 drivers with us tonight.
It is all up into the air. If Griffith and Majid come together, that spell is great for Nate Speck, because that basically just means he can drive right through, take that silver championship. Lehman's going to be hoping to throw on the blockers for Mercer, as we have had an epic start tonight with Lehman and Mercer starting in the same line together. We cannot write this.
While they are going around the track on their outlap, I would like to take a moment to say a huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favorite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates. Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. And To Go Setups, premium esports setups for everyone. Use our affiliate link on our Discord to take your drive to the next level.
Thank you for that. As we all line up double file here. Our main camera will try to capture the front action right off the bat, as your picture-in-picture will look towards the middle of the backpack, even though it's not that long. but it's still going to be some action. Luckily, turn 1 has a lot of runoff. So we are all lining up on the main straight here, coming down. We'll
Red
throw
light
it.
still showing. These
Oh.
drivers waiting in anticipation. Final race of the season, week 8. And these drivers have been waiting for this moment. And we're off and away for SRA as the lights drop green.
And it looks like Lehman gets a very good start on everyone around him. Nate Speck's actually going to get a drive through. That's going to spell disastrous for the silver champion. Mercer will be stuck to the inside. We'll lose 2 positions here. Mr. Sir coming up on the inside. We're 3 wide right now. Mr. Sir having the inside. Mercer's going to have to back off a little bit. Mercer will give way to Mr. Sir. But now it's O'Brien and Mercer next to each other. Teammates are stuck together. Alex Chilka trying to make his way through the field. We'll dive up on the inside of O'Brien, I believe that is, and we'll keep that position. Mercer out in front. Chilka will have to go. And we all kind of sort in line here. Chilka getting a little tap on the rear from O'Brien. We'll keep going. Fimbres Casas will take that position from O'Brien. And now O'Brien has to watch the defense because Nate Speck and Dromo are going at it right now. Dromo's going to have to take to the wide line. Nate Speck going to go trial on the inside. There is collision between him and O'Brien. As O'Brien thought he had the inside, Nate Speck thought he had the inside, but he will take it. Nate Speck still trying to have that drive through, trying to make up any position. Still too wide a little bit everywhere. And Sparks and Bray going side by side. Bray might look to lose 3 positions here, but will be some contact to unsettle him. Paremba trying to get the position, not going to be able to. Nate Speck just trying to slide in to get his drive through. Paremba has a spin, and there's a couple cars going off into the grass.
That's Paremba, Quigg, and Higgs all throwing yellow flags. Short foray off from the grass and back onto the race.
And that was just lap 1.
This is going to be a super tight race here, folks. These drivers start to get in line here, but great battles happening all up and down. Nate Speck electing to take that drive through right away. Get out of the traffic. Great excuse to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Cran and and O'Brien. Bumper to bumper.
As Lehman is starting to build that gap on Majida 1 second. And if you're Mercer, that's not what you want to see. You want to see Lehman get into the battle here. And Mercer needs to escape this traffic. I would not be surprised if we see Mercer into the pits right away, as we have another yellow flag of Stallworth off.
Stallworth gets back on reasonably quick. Not too big of a time loss there. Can still be made up. 57 minutes left of the race here, folks.
Yeah, lots of racing.
Don't count these folks out.
Lots of racing still to do. Wilson is closing the gap on Dromo. We still have a pretty big train. Fazli Majid is breaking away from Griffith. Mr. Sir is all over the back of Griffith trying to gain that position. Griffith needs to hold that. Griffith not having a great turn 12. Mr. Sir trying to capitalize on it. He's looking down on the inside of Griffith here. Is later on the brakes. Griffith's going to have to leave him the space on the inside. Mercer's just going to follow anyone through. Griffith will go into the pits. Mercer will stay out and take the alternate strategy here. Mr. Sir will have that position. And now we have a battle between Chilka and Mercer coming down the main straight. Chilka's going to have the outside. Mercer has the inside. Looks like Mercer will be able to gate that position if he can hold the speed through the inside. But Chilka's coming right back at him along the outside, holding so much speed down to turn 2. Mercer should have the preferred line here. Chilka gives way, and Nordstrom's going to try to come in here. Chilka looks to bump the back of Mercer just to get him a little push on the way, but all is good. Chilka will file in line. Fimbres Casas will follow in line of Nordstrom, who had a little mini battle behind the battle we just had. All cars on line here for the Sector 2. Sector 2 arguably probably one of the more difficult sectors to take over in. But as we see here, not impassable, as Diego is going to try to look up the inside here of Nordstrom, but Nordstrom's able to hold that speed a lot earlier. So we'll hold that position for the time being. Dromo all over the back of Diego as well. So we have a pretty tight bunch train here. Lehman is breaking away. Currently 4 seconds in front of Mercer. That's not what you want to see if you're German Mercer. Mercer will stay out. Alex Chilcutt will go into the pits now.
Maybe a smart move, getting eaten up by this pack here.
Diego's going to look down on the inside of Nordstrom, but won't be able to get that move done. Nordstrom will hold that outline speed. Drummer's going to run a little bit wide there. Diego looking up the inside to sign against it. So we'll just hold position for the time being. Brembo might be looking for a move here on San in the backfield. Not going to move at it just yet. Might be buying his time. Look for a better opportunity. Right now, it's all train city right now. It's hot lap time, baby. As San is not doing a great job of hot lapping, taking a little bit too much grass on the inside. Gotta be careful there not to get those track ups. Paremba gonna look up the inside. We'll decide to back out of that move. Slot right back in.
The picture-in-picture looking at Marquez, Higgs, and Neville here in a pretty close little train. Oh, as Higgs strikes the back of Marquez, yellow flag.
Last race, we're going all out. We don't need to repair the car after this. We'll just get a new one next season.
Well, Marquez, Ferrari's looking a little beat up, so that may be the strategy he's going for. Brembo still 2/10 right off of the back of San. San with some big damage to the front. Paremba as well.
Everyone has kind of slid in line. Diego and Nordstrom kind of our closest battle right now. Diego choosing not to go up on the inside of Nordstrom anywhere just yet, but he is all over the bumper. 1/10 might look here, decides against it, still just holding that position. Nordstrom's going to catch a little bit of the grass. But Flinders Casas not going to be able to do any damage that time. Actually goes a little deep in the braking zone, and Dromo tries to come at Diego. We'll decide to back out after Diego kind of shuts the door a little bit. Dan Cran is on the back of Rust now, as Sparks just behind him. Matt Lehman. Gap currently 2 seconds to Fazil Majid.
Neville unfortunately having an off track, losing 3 positions over the matter and throwing a yellow flag. Back on relatively quickly. Losing about 4 seconds to the matter.
Dan Cran will be peeling off into bits. Don't want to get held up by the Audi any longer. That will release Jordan Sparks on Patrick Russ if there's anything that will happen there. It's a little train of Nordstrom, Fernandez Casas, Dremo, and Pierce all kind of together right now. No one peeling into pits. Everyone happy with where they're at, happy with their pace. I'll tell you who's very happy with their pace. Matt Lehman setting the fastest lap of a 31-1 right now. Has a fast lap for race pace. Paremba will be off into the pits as well.
So of the drivers who have pit, we have Chilcutt, Griffith, Wilson, O'Brien, Cran, Bray, Paremba, and Quigg. Looking like the average time in pits to be about 34 to 35 seconds.
Okay. So we'll need to remember that number for when either Lehman or Mercer pit. I doubt Lehman will be pitting anytime soon, given the absolute abundance of clear air in front of him. No one really fighting it out just yet. Sparks closing the gap on Russ. We'll have the slipstream here, but that Audi engine is very powerful. But was it powerful enough to outpower a Ferrari? We've seen the outside line work in turn 1 better than the inside. So we'll just stay in line. Nick Sam will go into the pits now.
Return to Nate Speck, who I'm watching here in the picture-in-picture as Nick Sand goes into the pits.
Sparks is holding the inside around the turn on Russ. Can he hold the position? Russ will slot back in to sign against fighting for the position. And we'll just slot in after Russ went a little deep on a corner.
But it looks like Nate Speck, currently he's 37 seconds behind the leader, 1.3 seconds, and gaining rapidly on Neville, who's in 15th. He's turning decent laps, so he's definitely hoping to catch back up with the field.
Yep, he still has his mandatory pit stop, though, and he's only back there because of a false start drive-through.
Sometimes those can feel so BS.
It can.
Yeah. I can imagine the rage in the car, all that time preparing for having a good race, and false start drive-through pings you.
No,
Happens to the best of us, though.
He's not fully out of the battle here because I believe his counterpart is Griffith in the championship, if I can remember. He has pit, and he's in P18, and not too far behind. But anything can happen to Griffith right now. So if you are Nate Spector trying to find a way to just make up any kind of time and position, and he will make up that time and position by pitting right now.
Yeah, he got stuck behind Neville there. Couldn't find a convenient way to pass quickly. It's best to just get back in the back of the pack again, get that clean air, and just keep on lapping.
But he also needs to be wary of his teammate here now, because his teammate is fighting for the championship battle overall. So if he does end up having to become a blue flag to his teammate, which should be a very long time, if it does happen, he should probably give way. So Alex Chilcutt is all over the back of Neville right now. Actually going to end up losing time, not being able to predict that racing line good enough. So Chilcutt will have to sit back and watch Neville for the time being. And Neville is one amongst the drivers who have not pit yet. Chilcutt is actually leading our pitted drivers right now, and is about 40 seconds behind the leader. Stallsworth will drive through. That's another thing we didn't talk about. Drive-throughs are a very common occurrence here on this track, as Neville will go too deep, get his drive-through. We'll release Alex Chilcutt to the win.
Yeah, so this may be something that can even the playing field for Nate Specht here. Other people getting drive-throughs, and he has the opportunity to keep plugging away instead of being in these battles and then still getting the drive-through regardless. So, yeah, the drive-throughs pretty brutal here. Almost any track limits, you're going to get a warning for it. It's pretty brutal. I know that in the practice race last night, I jogged left, jogged right, trying to look for vision, battling someone, and instantly got 2 track cuts. So that was fun.
This track is decently lenient on how track limits are, but in general, to put a name on it, it's the red and white curb. You can't put all 4 of your tires over. Apart from turn 1, it is actually the green patch on the exit of turn 1 that you can go into. All you have to do is be within the track limits by the end of that green patch on turn 1.
I believe it's the same thing for turn 12 as well, but you really don't want to be over that far because of how serrated that curb is. Yeah.
Jeremy Mercer will be into the pits for his pit stop, possibly a championship winning pit stop if he can nail it right and possibly catch up to Lehman. We will have to see how that all plans out. We'll be keeping an eye on that gap. Right now, Mr. Sir is closing the gap to Fazli Majid. And if Mr. Sir could get in the mix here, this could throw a wrench in for Lehman. Even though they are of the same conglomerate. Higgs also gets a drive-through penalty. You'll promote friendly competition over there at Champion, right?
Definitely some friendly competition, but when there's a championship on the line,
Nah, you still got to pull out the gloves.
You got to let them know that they're there. Keep them honest, but no dumb moves. So
You tell me not to send it from 4/10 back on my teammate.
that's the idea, at least. Whether that happens or not, I have no control. So
It's fair enough, but Fazamaji is about to have no control over Mr. Sir as he is right on the bumper of him, coming through the treacherous curbs of turn 12. Both of them getting a little unsteady there, causing Mr. Sir to actually lose some of that gap. Will have to pull out of the dive if he was going for one there. Mr. Sir trying to get a better exit than Fazamaji here on the exit. Majid not going into the pits. Mr. Sir will instead go into the pits and try to find some clean air. Diego for Miss Casas, trying his best on Nordstrom, has been stuck behind Nordstrom for a good bit now. There's that green curb I was talking about. Just not able to get the move done just yet. Nick Sand on Paramba. Paramba is going to have that inside line, but gets his car unsettled, drifts it a little bit, but is able to hold it together and hold that position. Nick Sand trying to come back on him. Will not be able to go too wide through turn 12, so will stay in line for this last part of track. Both of them hitting that curve relatively okay. And Higgs has a yellow flag after his drive through. Just a little mess up. Nordstrom going a little deep there on the turn. Not deep enough for Diego to look for a move here. Nordstrom's going on quite the blocker right now.
all the while they're catching up to Fazley a little bit here.
Oh, and Diego's going to get a little unsettled there on the exit curb of turn 12. That just proves how treacherous it is. I've seen some chats. Yes, Higgs had to go back in and pit because the pit is for a mandatory refuel, and if you just do a drive-through, you cannot refuel. Fun fact.
That is true.
This cost is still stuck behind Nordstrom here. Matt Lehman now 6 seconds out in front of Nordstrom. 39.5 seconds in front of Jeremy Mercer, who has already taken their pit stop. Could end up being a battle, but by trusting Paule's calculations here, should still be in the lead given a clean, perfect pit stop.
Yes, according to my limitations, he should be very good.
So this is currently the battle for Division 1 Championship of SRA. Everything on the line here tonight. Currently the gap is within 1 point, so objective of the game tonight is finish in front of your competitor. You're practically guaranteed at least the tie. And this Casa's going to go a little deep on that curb again. We'll hold it better this time, but won't be getting any time on Nordstrom in that corner. We'll have to look again here on the straight.
I'm going to switch over to O'Brien, Wilson, and Griffith, creating a nice little three-car train here. 40 minutes left of racing. 3/10 and 6/10 separate these two folks. And as you can see, there's another nice little pack just ahead of them.
It's a couple little packs forming after the pit stops. Generally, this is probably a lot more pit stops we've had than normal.
Well, this track, I think it's because it is hard to pass, and you can really get slowed down quite a bit. So if you're looking to make up positions, looking to make up points in this last race, it's not worth it to race if you can dive into the pits and avoid all that stress.
That is true. As Brian is right on the back of Wilson, as you can see. Trying to find any way. Nate Specht gonna go side by side with Neville down the main straight. all the way in the back of the field, just hoping for something to happen to Griffith so he can secure this silver championship. Neville, not enough speed to compete with Nate Speck, will be able to hold that position through turn 1 and get on it. Lehman is actually building the gap to Mercer right now. We are now up to 40-second gap. Alex Chilcutt going very deep on turn 12. Can hold it together enough to keep with Mr. Sir, but I know that's a track cut right there. Chilcutt trying to get in the slipstream. Mr. Sir is closing the gap here on Mercer, and Mercer starts getting into a battle with Mr. Sir. It's going to spell the end of his championship here. Hermes Casas is close to Nordstrom as he's ever been currently. Just unable to pass. Nick Sam will get another drive through to his name down in P20, so that will send him to the back of the grid. Fortunate series of events for him. Wishing the race was over right now, probably.
It looks like Mercer's 40 seconds, 41 seconds behind the leader. It's 34 seconds total pit time, plus a couple seconds getting back up to speed. So he's not going to be that far off. He's in reality probably 3 seconds behind Lehman after the pit cycle.
Firmus Casas and Nordstrom are battling. Firmus Casas going to take the outside. Nordstrom's going to defend the inside. Who can hold the speed? Firmus Casas still out there trying to hold the line. Not going to be able to. Nordstrom will shut the door on Firmus Casas, looking up the inside of turn 2. Not going to have the speed to do it. We'll have to slot right back in behind again. Firmus Casas probably kicking himself right now, just trying to get that position right now from Nordstrom, and it's just not working. Mr. Sir has started closing the gap to Jeremy Mercer. And that's not what you really want to hear if you are Jeremy here.
Nick Sand with the drive-through.
If he got that a little bit ago.
Yeah, sorry, just now noticed. As he goes in for to serve it.
He does. Firmus Casas going deep again at turn 12. Lehman is pretty much off to the races. We'll reach a couple of blue flags. Currently hasn't hit any yet. The advantage that Lehman has right now, knowing that his counterpart is within the pit window time, not only is the fact that it takes time to get up to speed, but you do come out of the pits in the midst of turn 1. So if you are coming out of the pits and Mercer just so happens to be there, Mercer does have to leave the room and take the inside, and Lehman can hold that outside and hold his speed. So all in all right now, this seems like a win for Lehman right now. But we'll have to see how everything shakes out, as Mercer is 41 seconds behind Lehman right now.
Lehman is still setting some of the fastest times in the race, not quite, but he's steadily pulling that gap over the rest of the leaders. So 31.955 being his last. The only drivers who are able to match that is Mercer, still 41 seconds behind with a 31.90, and Mr. Sir with a 31.90, 41.8 seconds behind. So it's still going to be a pretty close battle, guys. Keep your eye on that.
35 minutes left of racing. Anything can happen. Drive-thrus can happen. Lehman sees a drive-through pop up on him. That is effectively championship done over lost. Same thing goes with Mercer. We saw it happen to Nate Speck now, so now all Griffith needs to do is just hold his position and stay within the lines, and that silver championship is all his. Casas still stuck behind Nordstrom. Not able to get anything working here. You see, gets very close, but does have to back off at some points. We were on board, getting the sound of the Porsche engine. We have 9 people who have, well, 10 people who have yet to pit in this race just yet. Our top 9 and plus Neville down in P21 right now, which is an unfamiliar spot for Neville, might I add. Usually up with the front pack. I'm wondering if that Aston Martin is having some issues, as Nixon is near the back pack of people who have yet to pit.
Well, great little train is developing here pretty quickly. Marquez, Mr. Sir, Alex Chilcutt, all grouping up here.
Can't forget Mercer, who's
and
leading
Mercer
that
as
train.
well.
Again, could spell disaster if Marquez catches up to Mercer a bit, because that will be a battle for position. But your main goal is just to finish in front of Lehman. So do you let the driver go and risk not being able to catch Lehman, or do you just keep that position? Casas going to look down on the inside of Nordstrom here. Not late enough on the brakes. Nordstrom will slam the door shut on Diego, and once again has to go around.
Mr. Sir making the move into the last turn. Going to take this position. But it's a drag race down the straightaway. Side by side, Mr. Sir and Marquez. Ferrari on Ferrari action. Looks like Marquez has to tuck in behind. Not much he can do there as Chilcutt gonna try to do the same thing. Is gonna push him out wide a little bit.
That's his position.
Ooh, but it looks like Chilcutt concedes that. Maybe didn't feel like that was a clean pass there.
Very heavy battling happening in the back.
Oh, and Marquez lets him by there.
I think Marquez went a little deep in the braking zone there. Okay, able to get that back, but now there's a 2-second gap to Mr. Sir. Mr. Sir has a 2-second gap to Mercer. This train still there, still alive, still kicking. Just lost 2 people. Diego and Nordstrom still kind of in a battle. I'm not signing to go anywhere. We have a driver just chilling in the pits. I think Neville is done. He might be retiring from this race. He has been sat in the pits for a minute now. So either he has extremely heavy damage, but Diego proving that he doesn't have any damage. Trying to go on the inside of Nordstrom and collects the quarter panel and spins himself out. Nordstrom will keep driving along. Diego gonna have to collect himself and get right back on track.
This train tightened up quite a bit here. Marquez, Griffith, Wilson all going into T1 here, a 10th between them. Marquez is going to take a bit of an outside line there. Griffith has a good run. He's going to make the dive up the inside. Marquez is kind of forced to back out a little bit as Griffith goes deep. Marquez is going to try to make that switchback. He's going to get this inside line here, but Griffith is going to get the next inside line. Carry more speed there, brake a little bit later, take that inside line, but he's going to be scrubbing speed off the exit of the corner.
That's a clean pass by Griffith. Good job to the boys, as this is our only battle on track right now. Wilson trying to defend against O'Brien in the back of the pack. Marquez going to take a defensive line against Wilson. Wilson trying to stick his nose up there. We'll have to back out of that line as the door was shut by Marquez.
Marquez has got to be very careful to not get himself eaten alive here.
Oh, and he messes up the braking zone a bit. We'll lose both positions. Wilson and O'Brien will go through. Griffith is going to try to escape from this. Wilson has to take turn 12 a little bit slow compared to others. Everyone going there pretty smooth, though. Diego from Casas into the pits.
All the while that madness was happening behind him, Griffith extends a 1.1 second gap to the cars behind. Definitely cementing that position there. Still, these two drivers 4/10, 3/10 apart.
They're very close indeed. Wilson coming down is able to hold the speed, so no one's going side by side through turn 1. Marquez going very deep on that corner. Luckily, no drive-through just yet. Marquez still does have to pit right now. We're halfway through the race. So just under 30 minutes left of the race. Anything can happen still, just as you're seeing on your screen, a random 3-car train or 4-car train that bursts onto the scenes. Causing a bit of action. So our top 7 plus Marquez have yet to pit. Should be looking to pit rather soon here within the next 25 minutes. As you can go to the final 2.5, I believe. Wilson, not going to get the cleanest of turn there. Might open the door for O'Brien a bit. Looks to be fine for the time being. The battling has kind of fizzled out. Enter a little bit of hot lap mode until you think you're faster.
Sit there, sit behind them, and sort of eye out those positions and eye out where you can make these passes, where they're slower, where they're faster.
We'll say if I'm Marquez and I catch up to this train again, I pit right then and there. You can't afford battling anymore, especially when you have yet to pit this far back in the pack. Higgs will get another
wide
drive
into
through.
turn 2 there.
Neville did come back out on track. Will be a decent ways down on the leader. As Chilcutt gets a drive through as well. We have 1, 2, 3. I believe we have 6 drive throughs so far. This track is fierce on drive-throughs, and if D1 is getting drive-throughs left and right, I can only imagine what other divisions may be getting as well.
Wilson and O'Brien catching back up to Griffith here.
You know, they have closed the door. The gap is about 3/10 now to Griffith, and if Griffith gets in this battle, it spells good news for Nate Specht. Bad news for Griffith.
That is, to respond to Brian Anderson, that is Higgs' second drive-through. Not a very fun race for him. I can imagine the frustration in the cockpit there.
This is Chilcutt's first drive-through of the night.
Oh. Man.
So he will drop quite a few positions here, all the way from P13 down to P17, it looks like, and might actually lose to P18, but is able to hold position. I lied. He goes a little wide in turn 1. Brembo will get past Chilcutt and keep that position for the time being.
Track limits are brutal here.
They are. Little battles are starting to pop up a little bit here and there and everywhere. As Wilson's going to go a little deep, leave the door open for O'Brien, and O'Brien's just going to go right on through. Diego from Casas. Just like he got stuck behind Nordstrom, now he's stuck behind Nate Specht.
Or Nate Specht is happy to have a little bit of company to spice up his race.
I don't think he is, as he gets a little wiggly on the exit, and we end up going side by side through here. Nate Specht is going to have the preferred line. We'll be able to hold that inside line in the braking zone. Force Diego to go out and slot right back in. And we'll be able to hold that position for the time being. Diego still all over the back of Nate Specht. Nate Specht not having a great time right now. We'll decide to go a little bit defensive. Diego will just hold off and slot in line for the time being. But coming down the main straight, we'll have that slipstream. We'll go to the left. Nate Specht signaled him to actually go to the left, it looked like. Wonder if he will just give this position. Diego will take that slot right in front of Nate Specht. Go along for the races. Nate Specht might be looking back, but we'll decide against it. We'll just slide in, let Diego go, and be free. Now it's Fazli Majid catching Marquez. Marquez still has yet to pit here. Not sure if he can really afford to get caught up in any battles.
Allworth, who looks like has bowed out of this race, is in the chat. Says this track is worse than Coda by far.
Oh.
Interesting take.
In terms of drive-thrus, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Gasly finding himself in a bit of a battle with Jay Marquez. 3/10 off the back of him. Going down the main straightaway right now. Closing that gap to 2/10.
Slipstream
Marquez
is coming into effect.
Still has all that front end damage. It's not going to help him. Fazzy's car looks nice and fresh right now.
Marquez is defending very hard. Majid going to take down to the inside. Is able to hold the position right now. Marquez trying to hold the speed along the outside, but not going to be able to do so. We'll slide in right behind Majid. Majid's going to go super defensive. Marquez not seeing that. Thought he was going to get the move done. Majid holds that position after overtaking. Good battling between the two cars. Marquez weaving back and forth on the straight for whatever reason.
Well, it looks like Fazli was giving him a trucker's salute there.
Always love truckers salute. I wonder if his tires are going a bit cold on this very cool day compared to qualifying. We'll have to see how this turns out. It does look like Majid is just pulling away from Marquez. Marquez deciding not to go into the pits to do his pit stop, so he will have 20 minutes left to do so. But if he does have damage, I feel it would just be best for him to go and get it done. He won't be last. I believe Neville's 3 laps down. You're on the lead lap. Come away with some good points.
I would say that you're losing more time having to fight with these blue flags and getting caught up in these awkward battles. It's probably best to just head in.
Correct.
Regroup, get back out. See what you can make of the last 21 minutes of the race.
So now here comes Bray on Marquez. We're closing the gap pretty relatively quickly right now. I believe these two are at least within the same conglomerate, judging by their livery and team name. It's just trying to hold it together. You can see the car just going unsettled in some of these longer corners. It's not having the downforce and is suffering in straight line speed. So if that front end is damaged pretty good, then it's costing him a lot of time. Bray's going to go a little bit deep there. We'll be able to hold it together. Won't be enough to hold the slipstream for now.
If you were just tuning into this race, this is the season finale, season 7. As these drivers' best of the SRA drivers are battling out for the last possible points positions here. Matt Lehman still taking a commanding lead, 10 seconds ahead of P2, which is Travis Nordstrom. And we are looking at Mercer as well, who's 41.8 seconds behind the leader after his pit stop, now 42 seconds. So it looks like Lehman has been plugging away.
All that clear area as he has reached the back of a blue flag now who will let him by. But he's had so much clear air, able to get it done. Marquez let Bray by while you're in the middle of that explanation. And it doesn't seem like Marquez is going anywhere fast right now. But O'Brien is trying to close the gap to Griffith right now. And the last thing Griffith needs is a battle on his hands. Even though Nate Speck is extremely far down there, any kind of pressure on Griffith could possibly send him to a drive-through, which will bring Nate Speck right back into it.
Nate Speck has also had nice clean air the entire time.
To get into a little bit of a battle with Diego for a little bit, but let Diego by, realize Diego's faster. Brian just able to close that gap to Griffith in Sector 1 and 3, but when it comes to Sector 2, Griffith is just able to defend and keep that car behind.
Mercer versus Lehman pace. Lehman's been plugging away solid 131.9s for the last couple of laps here. Mercer, his last being a 131.8, but he is slowly decaying in time to Lehman. Over the last about 10 minutes here, he's lost 2 seconds.
As Wilson is now about to join this Griffith and O'Brien fight. Just a second off the back of O'Brien right now. But he seems to be lapping faster than the two cars in front. And Cran also now catching on Marquez. That is about the fourth car that has catched Marquez, but it's not who was already pitted.
Just here in the picture, I've been watching Griffith and O'Brien plug away at their laps. O'Brien keeping a healthy 4/10 behind.
Putting in, keeps pulling them back in.
Very similar laps here now, 3/10 on the straight. Not enough to make any moves.
Oh, but that's very slow by Griffith, so O'Brien's going to take the move down on the inside. Is going to be able to hold that position. Griffith trying to hold the speed on the outside. Not going to be able to get it done. We'll give that position up to Griffith, but watch out. Wilson waiting in the wings here, closing the back to Griffith right now. Marquez will finally go off into the pits. Griffith now needs to worry less about what's in front of him, more about what's behind him again, as we have a very fast car of Wilson approaching you.
Oh, as O'Brien slides real bad on that corner. Evidently, the tire is taking their toll.
You have 17 minutes left in the race, so your tires are going to get worn. Now's the time to start seeing them. Griffith might be seeing a bit of that as well, but this train has kind of popped off. Nick Sam will get another drive-through down in the back of the pack. Wilson very late on the brakes to close that gap to Griffith. Wilson chomping at the bit right now. Faster than Griffith over turn 12. Just trying to hold position right now. Might look down on the inside here the last turn. Will decide against it. We'll just float his car out in the braking zone. But now needs to look to the front stretch. See if he can catch that slipstream. See if he can gain enough speed to overtake Griffith here. But it looks like Griffith had a good enough exit to hold that position for the time being.
So to answer Brian Anderson in the chat, yes, Mercer is 42 seconds behind. Average time in pits is looking to be 34 to 35 seconds. So as long as Matt has a good pit stop. And plus a couple seconds on the end of that as well to account for getting back up to speed and slowing down going into the pit lane. but it should be pretty close, but he should be about 3-4 seconds behind him.
So I believe as where we stand right now, if positioning were to finish this way, obviously it won't. We still have some pit stops to go. Matt Lehman will take your gold championship, your Divisional 1 championship here in Season 7. Griffith will take your silver championship here in Division 1. And I believe the team championship will go to O'Brien and Mercer, no? I think I'm right about that. Because Nate Specht is down in P19, not a very good finishing position for the team. And also,
the team championship is looking like Mercer and O'Brien. They still having solid finishes despite Mercer not being in the P1 that he'd like to be.
Gilmer Wilson is gaining on Griffith here down the turn 1, got into the slipstream. Not going to be able to do any overtaking here in turn 1. Griffith going to hold that turn nice and tight. Wilson's going to now look down the inside of turn 2. We'll decide against it. We'll just back out, let Griffith go, but he's still right there. No real battle happening just yet other than the one on your main screen. 14 minutes left in this race. 14 minutes to close out the end of Season 7 here in Division 1. As we still have other divisions going around the league currently. And we have divisions going on tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow for some Division 2 action here on Twitch. Some Division 3 action on our YouTube page, Sim Racing Alliance.
Make sure to go to SRA.gg. Lots of fun stuff on there. Lots of good information about how to get signed up if you're interested.
But also go to simracingalliance.com, whichever you may prefer. I also did not know we owned the domain SRA.gg. That was new to me.
Far easier to say on stream, I'll tell you what.
It definitely is. But what's not easy is Wilson getting past Griffith right now. And if I could sum up Griffith's race in one word right now over the past 45 minutes, wall.
Yeah, it's he's been great at defense, but just a lot of action going on, passing these drivers and then getting passed by O'Brien again, and yeah, a lot of action for him.
Indeed, as the top 7 is still yet to pit, they have just over 10 minutes to do so, so look for our top drivers to be pitting relatively shortly. We will let you know if we see something on our, I don't know what we call this, our race control. Gap to Griffith from Wilson, about half a second right now. Usually get that here in Sector 2, and then that gap will drop a bit once we hit Sector 1 and 3. Nixon also. Sorry, go ahead.
Things definitely kind of evening out here at the tail end of the race. We're not going to see more action until these last couple drivers go in for their pits. Nixon, Russ, Sparks, Pierce, Stromo, Nordstrom, and Lehman still have yet to pit, as we have a driver off track there. That appears to be the 105 of Nick Sand, blowing a yellow flag.
He is blue flagged for everyone around him right now. So,
Roger, my friend, yes, it is the end of the season. How have you missed that? No, I feel the same way. The season just started like a week ago to me. So
it has gone pretty fast. I mean, I know last season we had some breaks in between races. This one has been a straight through 2 months and 0 breaks whatsoever. It's been very quick. It feels like it just started yesterday. Wilson is wishing that it just ended yesterday, being behind Griffith. Nixon also closing the gap to Russ. That is the last of the non-pitted people. I'd be hard-pressed to say if one of them even stays out for the battle. You have little mini battles popping up a little bit. Bray is catching Fazli Majid just behind the battle on your main screen right now. Nixon catching Russ. Hermes Casas is actually catching Alex Chilcott right now. Brooker Quigg is catching Marquez as well. And Higgs will go into the pits.
Oh, Griffith going wide a little bit there.
Yep, and that will give the position to Wilson right now. If Griffith can tuck right in the slipstream again, try to gain some of that speed back, might be able to make a move here down in the turn one. Did not lose a ton of momentum, but he lost just enough to let Wilson in front, and I think Wilson will stay there now. That's all it takes is one little mistake and you're out the position.
Missing nothing, Roger. Can it?
You're missing everything because Nixon and Rust are about to have a nice little battle here. I'm starting to think that the AMR is not having a fun time around this track, given what has happened to Neville and Nixon is in the back. And Quigg and Marquez have had collisions. It seems like both of them spun off. Rush trying to go down the inside. Marquez did not look to see. That was Brooker Quigg actually went down in there. Marquez tried to close the door on Quigg and it looks like just did not work. And Quigg will actually re-overtake Marquez. Now it's Firmus Casas on Alex Chilcott through the second sector here. Nixon will be off into the pits to serve his pit stop. Just over 6 minutes left in the pit window. So we should be looking at our top 6 to pit relatively soon, within the next 4 minutes, probably, maybe 5. You know, how close they want to go. Hermes Casas taking that turn 12 curve very smoothly, surprisingly. Alex Chilcott is busting away here in Sector 3. So it doesn't look like Diego will have any chance here down the main straight.
Alex Chilcott is what? Alex Chilcott is busted?
He's busting down in Sector 3.
Okay. Okay.
Might be busted. You know, what's pretty busted was those track limits for Miss Casas. Not going to get the drive-through, but that's probably a warning. Bray is also approaching Majid. Closing the gap relatively quickly. Currently about a half a second right now. Both cars seem to be lapping pretty even, but I have to say, it seems like Bray has a little bit over the edge of Fazli Majid right now. Hermes Casas still knocking on the door of Alex Chilcott. A little bit closer than last time. See if we can do anything on the main straight. Paremba actually throwing a yellow flag as he is spun off at turn 12. Likely caught a clip of that curb, just unsettled the car. Hermes Casas approaching Chilcott relatively quick. Turn 1. Hermes Casas get a better exit than Chilcott. Looks like he can. Will look down the inside for a brief second. Try to play mind games with Chilcott. Will not fool him. Hermes Casas all over the back of Chilcott right now. Down to 1/10. They're practically touching bumpers right now. Who will do the inside? Chilcott will take the apex. Hermes Casas seems to be a little bit faster on the exit. Chilcott still holding the inside, hitting every apex perfectly right now. Can Diego find any way around him? Doesn't look like it. We'll have to slot in line for the rest of the lap. Try to find where Alex can make another mistake and just take advantage of it. Matt Lehman has pit. He's now rolling, and it looks like he will be in the lead. He will actually come out in front of Rust here, who is yet to pit as well. We'll end up closing the gap a bit. So gap from Lehman to Mercer is about 5 seconds. And that's not what you want to see if you are Jeremy Mercer.
Yeah, and Mercer is wrong page.
Fimbres Casas and Chilca are going side by side on the main straight. Chilca giving Diego the squeeze on the inside. Diego trying to find a space there. Is holding the inside relatively clean. There is a little bit of door bashing. Will get past Chilca there. Chilca not going to be able to fight back into turn 2. Diego will have that position for himself. Now it's Chilca on the hunt. And Nate Speck has a drive-through.
Ooh, another drive-through for Speck. Is this true?
Yes. He has just served it. So any hope in catching Griffith has seized, as the rest of the top 4 have pit. Nordstrom, Dremo, Pierce, Sparks have all pit. Rust has still yet to pit and will likely pit at the end of this lap. Yes, he will. He will go into the pits now. Lehman will re-inherit P1. Jeremy Mercer will inherit P2. And unless Lehman has a catastrophe on track, it's pretty much written in the books. Lehman will be your Division 1 Sim Racing Alliance champion of Season 7. As now O'Brien and Pierce are going to end up going side by side here. O'Brien trying to hold the outside, not going to be able to hold it there. Sliding a little bit, getting car a little bit unsafe. Pierce will run away with this, and a big train has formed here. Sparks to Wilson, the Griffith, the Majid, the Bray. No one really close enough to make a move. Wilson is very close on Sparks, all over the back of him, in fact. As we have just over 3 minutes left to make a move. Everyone has pits, so this is all battles for positions at this point. This is what we talk about when these battles will start happening again once everyone has done their pit stops, and they have picked up quite a bit. Bray closing the gap on Majid here in the back of the train. If he can find a way around Majid, he has a good chance of finding a way around Griffith. Everyone's
3 minutes left of the race. This is it for all the marbles. Season 7, Race 8 finale. These will be the last positions gained this season.
Be the final.
Anyone can get the move.
2.5 minutes of the season. Bray not going to do any kind of move here. Griffith might look down the inside. We'll decide against. Pit window has closed. I believe everyone has pit already, so no penalty is going to be thrown out there. Griffith trying to grab that slipstream from Wilson here. It looks to be doing successfully, but it doesn't look to be enough to make any move down into turn 1. We should have this lap and next lap to go. So it's not the final lap yet, but we are rearing close to it. If you want to make any move to gain any position right now, put your stamp on the SRA history books. Now's the time to do it.
Looks like Rust came out right in front of Chilcutt. Chilcutt making the move in the last turn there for position, then Rust getting real loose on the exit there. And this train right here, all 5/10 apart from each other.
Correct.
Sparks, Wilson, Griffith, Majid, Bray still going at it here.
And we have been looking at it's going to take a pretty ballsy player right now to go for any move. Bray is the one that has the most likelihood of going for a move here on Majid, but Majid has that straight line speed of the Lamborghini and has just been very good at defending. Leader will start the final lap here soon. Majid falling away from this pack might spell some good news for Bray. If Majid falls out of this slipstream, could allow Bray to overtake. Our leader is on the final lap. One last chance to make any kind of position gain. Right now, our closest battle is everyone in this train right now. Majid trying to get a good exit. Can Bray get a better exit? Looks like both of them got decent exits, so they will just sit behind. Bray has the slipstream. Majid does not have the slipstream. Griffith's trying to do anything, not going to be able to do it. We will just stay in line for this battle. Griffith trying to hold the speed through the corner, not able to do it faster than the cars ahead of him. No one going for a move just yet. Might be just here to finish the race. Lehman, 3.5 second gap, just needs to bring it home, and he will win the championship.
I'm looking at O'Brien and Pierce here. Pierce in front, battling for 6th place. 0.3 seconds separate these two. A move could happen here in these final laps. O'Brien hasn't been making any headway towards him, though, recently. If he's going to get close, he's going to have to make that move then and now.
Nick Sam will get another drive-through.
Oh, man.
That will be unable to serve, so I believe that's a 30-second time penalty added at the end of the race. No one in this train looks to be going for any moves here. But the only move that has been done this season has been Matt Lehman's absolute championship run. Coming back from 1 point down, Matt Lehman is your Division 1 champion winner here in Season 7. Everyone following in behind him. O'Brien's not going to be able to make that move. Everyone in this train. Bray is going to actually try to overtake Majid here down to the line. It's a drag race here. Does Bray have enough speed over Majid to get that position? He does. He will take that position away from Majid. Chilka has a drive-through. We'll end up getting that added on at the end of his race. Diego Firmus Casas trying to slipstream off of Nixon here down at the end. Will not be able to get it. We'll have that position. Chilka will add that 30 seconds onto the end of his race. And Griffith finishing P10 should secure him the silver Divisional 1 championship. And I believe our team championship will go to Jeremy Mercer and Peter O'Brien. What a way to end off the season. Everyone do your donuts. Matt Lehman, not doing any donuts, has returned to pit. He's had enough.
You know what? I'm extraordinarily excited to see Matt Lehman finally win a championship here at SRA. Wow. It's been absolutely fantastic to watch. Fortunately, this year I was able to have him at Champion Motorsports, and he's taught us quite a few things, and he's got a lot of experience here at SRA. He's been here since Season 2, I believe, or Season 1, and finally getting a championship under his belt.
You know what that means? We get to see the Matt Lehman do a shoey.
This is true.
That will wrap up Season 7 of Division 1. What a way to end on. Had everything. Championship battle, drag race to the end of the finish line. See if we can get an interview with some of the championship winners at least. Once they start joining the tracks, once they calm down, get their adrenaline sorted for the time being. I'm sure Lehman's going nuts right now.
Well, correction.
All right.
Big correction here. Looks like he has won in Season 3.
He has.
That's my mistake.
Oh.
So this will be his second championship. Very exciting.
We need Lehman, Griffith.
Lehman,
Mercer,
Griffith,
and O'Brien will be all of our winners. We'll try to do O'Brien and Mercer as a pair.
Okay, I'll bring in Matt here first. Matt, welcome to the commentator's booth, and a huge congratulations not only on a fantastic race win here at Valencia, but a fantastic season culminating in a championship. From what we can see so far, the numbers aren't quite in yet, but absolutely fantastic drive out there tonight. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty stoked, man. Thanks. First of all, tonight's drive was a little bit intense. Like for the first, half of it, it was chill. But then with 20 to go, I actually lost all sound. So I was driving purely on visuals.
Wow.
So that was a definite struggle. But for the first half of the race, shout out to my team. Nate Speck's been great with setups all season long. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mr. Sir too, because he basically kept within Mercer's vicinity all race long, and so he was able to give me basically lap by lap updates. So was able to keep tabs on where he was all the time, and get lap time comparisons, things like that. So yeah, I was feeling pretty confident throughout the race. Just make sure not to push too hard. Try to maintain the gap because yeah, tire wear was not good today. Definitely towards the latter half, was struggling decently. But yeah, all in all, definitely happy with the result.
Well, I'm extraordinarily surprised to hear no sound 20 to go. That is pretty detrimental to most people's races. Sound is a very important part of the whole experience here. Being able to hear your car, the sliding, the tires, the shifting. Huge loss when you don't have that. So absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, I mean, you were still pulling a gap on Mercer, even at the end,
Yeah,
especially
like
at the end, actually.
yeah, I'm definitely thankful that, the sound issue. I mean, I'm not thankful that it happened at all, but if it had to happen, I'm glad it happened towards the end because I'd had enough, laps done where like I more or less memorized where to shift, things like that. So I did have to keep an extra eye on the dash just to make sure I wasn't, bouncing off the rev limiter, but for the most part, it was just driving by muscle memory.
Fair enough.
Absolutely nuts.
And how are you feeling about the season overall?
Season was pretty strong. I won 5 of 8 races. Certainly had a bit of a rough spell, especially with the wet tracks. I'm usually pretty good at the wet tracks, but this season, me and the McLaren just didn't really gel in the wet. So definitely have to work on that. But overall, we were definitely strong all season long. I won that spa race early in the season before we even switched to the Evo. So that was still on the regular 720S. So, we had speed right out the gate. Um, yeah, but yeah, there's no question that, since we switched to the Evo, we just had a really good BOP across basically all tracks. So definitely worked in our favor.
Well, yeah, most certainly. And pr- provisionally, uh, it looks to me, I can't see a reason why you haven't won. How are you feeling about a second championship?
Feels great. It's been a little bit. I think my last champ was like season 3, so it must have been like a year ago now. So there's been a lot of fast boys that have come in since then. So just the level of competition's gone up, with every subsequent season. So yeah, it's nice to see these fast guys stick around. Definitely, hopefully they continue to stick around and more fast guys continue to show up too.
Give yourself an extra challenge. But yeah, wow, Lehman, amazing performance this season, amazing performance this race. Congratulations again. Don't celebrate too hard because you're going to have to save a couple of brews for the upcoming Shoey. We'll be looking forward to seeing that. Thank you for joining us in the booth, and once again, congratulations.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks, Taylor. I will see y'all next season.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yeah.
All right, next on
do
our
have-
list,
We have Michael Griffith lined up with Wendy's Silver Championship.
yes.
He is
has
waiting in the cooldown room for us.
un momento. Michael Griffith, welcome to the commentator's booth. Thank you for joining us up here, and congratulations on a good finish here tonight. Lots of fun battles, but more importantly, the silver championship from what we can see here so far. How are you feeling out there today?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Season's been awesome. Great battles with Nate and Bray, and just glad I could put together a clean race this week. I've had a couple rough weeks back to back, and was just focused on getting a good quality down this race and starting and just putting everybody behind me.
Yeah, well, just gotta plug in and go and grind out those laps and get in that practice and cross your fingers for the race. And you've done a really good job throughout the entire season. Looks like you're gonna wind up 10th overall for the overall championship as well, which is another it's a great finish being in silver. Yeah, great championship. With Nate Specht, getting that drive-through right off the line. What were your thoughts in that moment?
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I just figured, okay, now I just need to settle in and stay on the black stuff, not get a drive through myself. And I just kind of kept it calm. When people came up on me, I just kind of let them by. I didn't fight anybody too hard because I knew I just needed to finish clean.
Well, from not from what we saw on our end, you had quite a bit of spicy action going for a good chunk of that race. For a lot of the race, actually, you were some of the only battles going on. So a lot of camera time on this one too. So, but yeah, fantastic race and a great season. We'll be looking forward to seeing a Shui on the reveal stream.
I was so pumped this week because I was like, all right, guys, I'm doing a shoey this week, and my wife was so confused.
Why would you subject yourself to
How do
that?
you want to drink from a
Exactly.
shoe?
It's tradition. It's all tradition. Standings are updated.
They are. It has confirmed that Griffith is our silver championship, and Jeremy Mercer, Peter O'Brien will be our team championship, and Lehman is our gold championship.
All right,
We got it right.
Just as our calculations worked out. Oh yeah, perfectly. Just updated on my screen here. Awesome. Yeah, Matt Lehman eclipsing Mercer by 10 points, and Griffith, you
19.
have by 18 on my
sorry.
screen.
Awesome.
Here. 18
Awesome.
over Nate Speck. So,
Get that shoe ready.
fantastic season from you, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you on track next season.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate it. It's an awesome league here, so really appreciate all the support.
Well, thanks for racing.
We have Jeremy Mercer and Peter O'Brien lined up in our cooldown room if we want a joint interview with our team championship winners.
Let's get them in here.
Get them in here.
Welcome to the commentator's booth, team champion of season 7 here at SRA. Well, seasons go by quick, my goodness. But congratulations on the championship. How's your guys' thoughts on the season?
Really good. Honestly, is good to be in a strong car that was good everywhere, and I could be consistent throughout all the races.
I would say similar. Just happy to be with a teammate that shows up to every race and tunes the car and is competitive. So it's good.
See, that's the wonderful thing about the community here in SRA. You find yourself a good teammate, and you can really propel each other into doing greater things, performing better on track, and nabbing those team championships like you guys have done this season. Mercer, this is more of a question for you here. Tough race here tonight. Being the standings have just came in 10 points behind Lehman for the championship. How were you feeling, especially in those first laps when you had all that pressure?
Well, going into the race, I was under the assumption that Lehman would be very fast in qualifying. It ended up being that I could have gotten pole, and I just messed up my lap. So that's kind of where a big point of the pressure is, and I could have done better there. And then the start of the race, I messed up the first turn and lost a couple spots. So it was then into try and drive fast and clean, get an early pit stop to try and get some clear air. And that was a good move because it got me into second. But I didn't have the pace to catch up with Lehman. So.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate series of events in those first couple laps there. But you really made the best of it. Only a 3.8 second gap to Lehman at the end, which, considering having to lose all those positions and having to deal with some of the back markers, it definitely was the right play to make. Get out of the group quickly. And you definitely made the best of it. So, absolutely fantastic race out there today. And there's going to be a whole nother season next season to try to get Matt Lehman next time.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you guys so much for coming up here to the commentator's booth. And thank you for racing with us this season. We hope to see you guys back next season and see your shoeies at the reveal stream.
Oh, fair point. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Some plans going.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
What a way to
All
end the
right.
season. How are you feeling after 8 rounds of just straight action, Bully? Even though you weren't here for half of them, but how are you feeling?
Hey. Yeah, the season for me, I definitely haven't been quite as involved as I have been due to some external factors, but it was still extraordinarily exciting to follow along with this Division 1 fight up here. Very excited to see Matt Lehman do so well, get another championship under his belt, and very happy with the rest of my conglomerate for performing so well and really just being great examples on the track. So happy with this season, happy with D1, and certainly excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow on Twitch, where we will have the D2 action for everyone to see. So make sure to tune into that if you aren't planning on already. But yeah, I will be driving out there, and it's going to be a hoot and a holler. I tell you what.
It will be. There's still plenty of action left. I just want to thank you for letting me come in and raid D1 for my first ever season in D1 up here. It was a blast. It was fun. Action-packed. Definitely different from hosting lower divisions. So I thank you for that. But Pauly's right. If you want to see more action here, the season's not technically over for the rest of the league. Here on Twitch, Division 2 will be live tomorrow, same time around 9 p.m. EST. And if you're looking to catch any of the Division 3 action, or I believe other divisions, Division 6 and 7.
6. Yeah.
They will be live over on our YouTube Sim Racing Alliance. And if you're actually looking to get in on the fun, join yourself for next season, as we will be starting qualifiers here soon. You can go over to simracingalliance.com or SRA.gg. Go over there, research how to sign up and register, join the Discord, get the chatting. We're all fun, loving group of people. We do a lot of fun stuff in the off season, such as League in a Week. I believe we have an endurance race coming up here within the next few weekends, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that will spell the end of us in the commentators booth for Division 1, rounding out Season 7 here at Sim Racing Alliance, Valencia. I'm Taylor Mama. That's Pauly Hartman. We'll see you all next season. Stay frosty, my friends.